Tourists are avoiding Florida like it has emotional herpes. Florida tourism is down, beach businesses are dying, and the people are somehow surprised about it. Come to Florida, where the sun burns your skin and the governor burns your identity. It's so politically toxic that even the alligators are switching parties. DeSantis is out here turning Florida into a family-friendly dictatorship. It's like North Korea with Margaritaville decor. He's out here banning books, attacking drag queens, and starting a fight with Mickey Mouse like he's the final boss of the woke Olympics. The man literally lost a fight with Disney. That's like getting beaten up by a piñata. Tourism in Florida has dropped harder than DeSantis' presidential campaign. You remember that? Blink and you missed it. It was like watching a wet sock run for office. The beach bars are empty. Even the piña coladas are asking, is it because I'm fruity? You know things are bad when even retired boomers are thinking of packing up and moving back to New Jersey.
Florida beaches are empty because racism don't pay the bills.
What's happening to the tourism in Las Vegas? I don't know about you guys, but my energy bill just tripled and groceries are still expensive as fuck. As someone who used to go to Las Vegas multiple times a year, as somebody who has family in Las Vegas, there's multiple reasons why I'm not going out there as often as I used to. Plane tickets. Plane tickets to Vegas used to be cheap. Now, not cheap. I remember being able to catch round-trip tickets for under $100. So as someone who's a light packer with just one bag, that's a steal. Number two, the things that used to be cheap in Vegas just aren't anymore. I always felt like there was this understanding that like, okay, I'm going to Vegas and I'm going to gamble money and most likely lose, but at least the hotels and the buffets are good and affordable. And it's just not that way anymore. The last time I was out there staying at family's house, my wife and I looked at booking a night or two at a hotel on the Strip, and that was until we realized it was going to be $300 to $500 a night. And I understand that's the Strip, but that's insane. And that's before all the resort fees and they charge you to park in the garage and all that other stuff. Number three, I don't see a lot of people talk about this, but the loosening of gambling restrictions all over the country are definitely hurting Vegas. Now, if I want to get my little Keno fix, there's a casino that opened up near me and that I can just go and hit that. I no longer have to go out to Las Vegas if I want to play actual casino games. Oh, and number four, a lot of the tourists that went to Vegas were international travelers. And I can think of a handful of reasons why people from outside of the U.S. would not feel comfortable coming to the U.S. right now.
They are not lying about Vegas being dead, y'all. I'm a waitress on the Strip, and last year around this time, I made like $300 to $500 a day in tips. And today, I just walked home with $124.
No one is visiting the United States. Tanks are rolling up and down the streets of American cities. The president has custom treating foreign travelers like suspects the second they land. And now he's raised the price of an American visa to almost $500. Of course, America is the only country in the world that saw tourism drop this year. The U.S. has received 3 million fewer visitors in the first 7 months of this year. And with the cost of the new visa, it's only going to get worse. Billions have already been lost. And the steepest decline came from our fucking neighbors to the north, Canada. Car trips from Canada are down 37%. Air travel is down 26%. And for the first time ever, Americans travel to Canada more than Canadians drive into America. And U.S. cities are desperate. Buffalo put up signs that read, "Buffalo loves Canada," and offered $500 to any Canadians that came, and none did. Seattle food tours saw Canadian customers cut in half. In New York, an international dance competition was postponed after foreign dancers pulled out, saying they weren't comfortable coming to Trump's America. I think the World Travel and Tourism Council said it best. While other nations are rolling out the welcome mat, the U.S., under President Trump, is putting up a close sign.
Florida beaches are usually packed with sun-burning tourists actually spending big, man. And now it's looking empty. Las Vegas, the neon lights are always burning brighter, but now it's quieter. You know, more than actually anybody would want to admit. America's tourism machine, you know, worth hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars is actually breaking down. And the scary part, it's not just a dip, it's a full-on crash. In 2025 alone, visitors are expected to spend about $12.5 billion less than last year. And that is money that actually should have gone to hotels, diners, cab drivers, cleaners, and ordinary working folks. States like Florida, California, Nevada, and other states that actually depend on tourism dollars are feeling it first and the hardest. Well, you F around, you find out. I'm a presenter, Joel Magisha. If you're new, kindly consider subscribing, hit that like button and leave me a comment of what your opinion is of today's episode. Let's take a look at these videos that I have sampled for you guys of people actually addressing what is happening with, tourism in the United States. I'll be back with more commentary after this.
To our cover story and the summer travel slowdown. For weeks, we've been telling you about how major tourist destinations like New York City and Las Vegas are reporting significant drop-offs in visitors. And tourists and businesses here say they're seeing the same thing.
The summer swing never happened for us either.
I don't know if it's the hurricane, the economy, a mix of the two, but we've definitely been, everybody around here that I spoke to has been down about 30% this year.
So tonight, we are following through on businesses along Johns Pass Boardwalk who are hoping for a busy summer travel season after they suffered costly repairs following Hurricane Helene. According to Visit Tampa Bay, tourism numbers have been on par with recent years. However, ABC Action News reporter Blake Phillips is listening to those business owners who say that has not been the case for them.
So it is a ghost town.
For many along Johns Pass, business has been falling short.
It's the slowest year we've had since 2020.
Following Hurricane Helene, the damage kept businesses closed in some cases for over 2 months, and then for some, even longer.
And that's why I say we're blessed, because we were closed 10 weeks, which is a lot, right? And it hurt us a lot. But in comparison to some people, it's not. Because some people, like I said, are still not working and they're still out of jobs.
ABC Action News spoke with several different businesses along Johns Pass back along the 4th of July holiday week. And even then, they were hoping for a big summer boost to help cover the lost revenue and repair costs.
But this year, since the hurricane, it's been really bad, so it's really hard to tell.
Now, 1 month later, they tell me that just didn't happen.
Spring break really never happened for us. And then the summer swing never happened for us either. The kids locally just went back to school, I guess this past week, and now it is just dead.
And low business is something almost everyone is feeling all along the boardwalk.
I don't know if it's the hurricane, the economy, a mix of the two, but we've definitely been, everybody around here that I spoke to has been down about 30% this year.
Nobody wants to come to the U.S. anymore. At the beginning of 2025, tourism was estimated to be up about 6.2% this year. So going into 2025, we're going to see a 6.2% increase in tourism. By August, tourism is down almost 8.2% at a loss of $12.5 billion. Nobody wants to come here to this. Who would want to come to a police state nation where the National Guard and all the police and federal agents and ICE are picking people up in masks and people are being detained and disappearing? You got law enforcement on every corner. Who would want to spend their vacation here and deal with that? Who would want to bring their family to a police military zone? Hell, the citizens in the cities aren't even coming out no more. They're staying in the house because they don't want to be bothered with all the stress and BS coming from all the officers detaining people, pulling people over, stopping people, walking up to people sitting on park benches. What's going on? Who would want to be in this type of environment? Like, everybody around the world hates us right now, and they're looking at us just waiting for us to implode, honestly. Both our neighbors to the north and south, Canada and Mexico, want nothing to do with us, don't want us there, and they don't want to come here. They don't want to do business with us. Nobody is feeling any kind of love for the U.S. right now because of our, I won't say, just DJT. Let alone the fact that nobody wants to do business with us due to the tariffs that you impart. So now that you've put the tariffs on everyone, nobody wants to hire. Nobody has money to make new jobs. Nobody wants to import. Nobody wants to export. Nobody wants to deal with the U.S. We look like a country on the edge. We look like we have no idea what's happening in the world. We have incompetent leadership, turning a blind eye to genocide, turning a blind eye to people suffering, rounding up their own people, citizens, veterans, unfortunate, underprivileged, people that fell victim to this system. And there's no heart, there's no intellect, there's no empathy, nothing being shown to the citizens here from the administration that's in charge. Nobody wants to come here. I wouldn't want to come here.
Did you hear about this? Trump wants to charge tourists $250 to set foot in the United States. This couldn't come at a worse time. Since Trump has taken office, there's been a 15% decline in international arrivals. And we're forecasted to lose $65 billion in tourism spending. People are not coming to this country because of Trump, his policies, and his rhetoric. And his solution is to start to charge them $250 if they want to come here. This is going to crush the already hurting tourism industry. Keep in mind, most countries charge around $5. I don't know. I just don't understand his thinking. It's like he's purposely trying to alienate the U.S. from the rest of the world while hurting our economy. Yes, the government will take in more revenue, but at the expense of restaurants, transportation, events, shopping, and jobs. This has been attempted by other countries in the past, and it's failed. And there's tons of supporting data to prove it. So why is he doing this? If you're in any of these industries, hold on tight. This is going to be a rough ride. And let me know what you think. And smash that follow button to stay in the loop.
So tourism has supposedly dropped in Las Vegas, Nevada, America's playground. If you've been to Las Vegas before, you know that it is always busy, no matter what.
They are not lying about Vegas being dead, y'all. I'm a waitress on the Strip, and last year around this time, I made like $300 to $500 a day in tips. And today, I just walked home with $124.
Vegas is dead. The rumors are true. Visitation is down. And there's really nobody around except a few corporate events going on here and there, corporate meetings. But yeah, it is kind of dead here, I'm going to have to admit.
I live in Las Vegas, and people are talking a lot about Las Vegas, how Las Vegas is down and people aren't visiting and flights are empty and all this stuff. This is what I can tell you. It's a Friday afternoon. And I just drove across town. I mean, from one end of the town to the other end of Las Vegas. And I just did it in 17 minutes. 17 minutes. No traffic whatsoever. And this morning, there was eerily no traffic whatsoever. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but this much I can tell you. There's no traffic. There's no traffic in Vegas at all. If on a Friday afternoon, I can drive from one side of the town all the way to the other, from Summerlin all the way to Henderson in 17 minutes. Yeah, something's up. Something's up in Vegas. I don't know exactly what, but, there's no traffic in Vegas, especially on a Friday.
Las Vegas is in a lot of trouble, and I think I can tell you why in a way that's not like the other videos. I hope that I tell this in a way that enough people can really hear this story. I moved to Las Vegas during the first financial recession, 2009, and my first night here, I stayed at the Excalibur. When I was here, I stopped as soon as I got to Las Vegas. I stopped at a Terrible's gas station, and this woman looked at me. I must have looked so frightened, and she was like, "Honey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I just moved here." She's like, "Well, let me know if you need anything." And I just thought that was so cool. And yeah, eventually I found a place to stay, and eventually I found a job. It was really, really tough. I would not tell you to move to Las Vegas right now. It's going to be tough to get a job. Tougher than then. Tougher than it was. But I love this town, and I explored every part of this town. I've been to every corner of every casino, whether that's local or on the Strip. I've been inside every casino. I've done every cheesy attraction you can go to. Like the M&M's place, the chocolate fountain at the Bellagio, the 7 Magic Mountains, just everything you could do. The Atomic Museum. And I always felt welcome in the halls of casinos in this town. It was affordable. If you played in the casino, you were treated well. You got comps, you got things from them. And I would go to shows at the Mandalay Bay. I would go to shows at MGM, T-Mobile Arena. I remember I went to a concert at the Mandalay Bay. It was $50. I didn't pay for parking. And then we had dinner afterwards. It was $25 for dinner to do that. It was truly a magical. And for a good 10 years of my life, if you asked me anything about Las Vegas, I could tell you every little fact and weird little part of every fact. 3 days after I moved to Las Vegas, Oscar Goodman, the mob lawyer, comes up to me, "Welcome to Las Vegas." And this town was so magical to me. All of the parts of it. Red Rock, Ethel M's Chocolate Factory, Lake Las Vegas, all of these things I got to experience. And I'm so grateful for that. And it felt It felt like a different universe and a different time. But I could not imagine that now. I could not imagine as a local going to a casino on the Strip, whether that was parking or how I would be treated or the lack of really any incentive to go. It's so prohibitively expensive, and the energy has changed, and it is not welcoming and hospitable. We have become hostile to the people that built this town. And it's sad. It's very sad. And the reason is because our leaders have sold us out. The leaders over the last 20 years, they've done very well for themselves, but they have sold us out. And it has really stolen the magic of this town. I drove up the 15 today on a Thursday night, and there was no traffic. This town is in a lot of trouble.
Florida beaches are empty because racism don't pay the bills. Now, those beaches and businesses are empty in Florida, and the business owners are scratching their head. They're like, I don't understand what's happening and why this is going on. This is what happens when you build your entire platform on bigotry and fear. When you spend years attacking immigrants, the very people who visit your state, spend money in your hotels, eat at your restaurants, buy your tacky ass beach tiles. Don't act shocked when they stop showing up. And understand, it's not just tourists who aren't coming to Florida. When you squeeze the working class like a lemon, there is no juice left for joy. You think people got beach money right now? People can't even afford to go outside. And all those Trump tariffs, those weren't on corporations. Those were Trump taxes on us. Prices went up, jobs got cut, and now folks are choosing between groceries and gas, not plane tickets to Clearwater. And y'all made Florida a hostile environment, honestly. And not just for immigrants, but also for black people, LGBTQ, teachers, hell, even librarians. Y'all made the beach a battleground. So now it's just you and those overpriced souvenir stands collecting dust. And now conservative business owners are mad. But they're mad at the consequences of the policies that they voted for. Baby, this ain't karma. This is cause and effect. Conservative policies destroy communities, period. So ask yourself, how long are you guys going to continue to vote against your own business?
Alright guys, there you have it. Actually, all this saga actually began with tourists losing their safety feeling actually being in the United States because of ICE raids and the fear of actually being profiled as illegal immigrants and being sent back to their countries. And this is why tourists are actually staying away, because of the negative perception. Surveys and travel groups are reporting that the US is increasingly seen as hostile and unwelcoming or unsafe to a lot of tourists. So most Canadians who would actually come for summer breaks or spring breaks are actually choosing to go elsewhere like Australia or Europe. And this is because of the fear of ICE profiling them as illegal immigrants and trying to deport them. Foreign media has actually reported that, tourists have been detained at airports and mistaken for undocumented immigrants or subjected to invasive checks. And this is the fear that a lot of people are having with coming to the US, and political climate there is not pleasant to a lot of people, especially with the trade tariffs and anti-immigrant rhetorics, where the rest of the world actually are seeing, coming to the United States as too much trouble than it's worth. Well, it is what it is, man. When you actually have the orange man in office who wants to show himself as big and strong, and this macho man portray the America as this macho man country that actually wants to teach a lesson to everybody all over the country, especially through these tariff wars, you're gonna piss some people off, because you have to understand that most countries actually do survive on partnership, and it is these partnerships that actually make them great. It's not one country that becomes great on its own. Every country needs the other to actually stand up, just like people actually need each other to actually make it in this life. So this is why you'll find that a lot of tourists from places like Europe, Canada, Australia are actually trying to prove a point by not actually, coming over for vacation in the United States. And as a result, a lot of MAGA states are actually feeling the heat, especially because their economy largely depends on the tourists bringing in those foreign currency tourism dollars. We've seen cities like Las Vegas, Nevada, actually people going there and reporting that the casinos are quiet and the squares are empty. People going to Florida beaches and showing that it's surprisingly actually very empty in the summer. And as if things weren't worse, actually the Orange Man has declared that as starting October 1st, 2025, visitors from non-visa waiver countries must pay over $250 in visa integrity fees. Well, as if these tourism companies weren't actually having enough to deal with, then you hit with this. This is exactly a restriction. This doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the hotels. It doesn't help the diners. It doesn't help the cab drivers who actually largely depend on the tourism economy. But let me know, guys, what do you think about this issue that is going on right now with the decline and the crashing of the tourism industry and everything associated with it? Well, do you think that it's because of how MAGA chose to go ahead and support or vote for someone who actually didn't actually understand anything about running a country, leave alone putting in policies that do help the people? Because most of them actually went ahead and voted to make America great again. But is this the America that they wanted as portrayed to be great? The America that doesn't actually allow or welcome people into its, borders? Or what kind of great America were they looking for? Now, with the World Cup actually on the corners, I don't know if those stadiums are gonna be filled with tourists. Well, it is what it is. Time will tell. Let me know in the comments. I'm your presenter, Joel Mugisha. If you're new, kindly consider subscribing. Hit that like button. See